Good morning, Blue Streaks. I hope you're having a good week so far. I know we got some bummer news on Tuesday about not being able to come back to school this year. I feel bad for you seniors, not be able to hang out with your friends and prom and spring sports and all those things you guys look forward to at the end of your senior year. But and I miss you guys too. I wish I could come back and see you and get things back to normal. But right now, this is our new normal, and you guys have been doing a good job getting your work in for me. Monday's assignment I thought was pretty easy, just calculator work. Hopefully your calculators are working. But if you're having issues with that, feel free to email me, and I'll help you out the best I can. Somehow we'll get it figured out if you're having issues with that or trouble with that. But from what I've gotten back so far for your homework, you guys have done a good job. I appreciate you keeping up. I know it's going to be tougher now, but it won't be that many more weeks. You got to do this, and then you can get that diploma. But again, I'm proud of you guys, the way you've been working, and I appreciate you getting your stuff in on time for me. So today's lesson is just some graphing, some inequalities, and we've been doing systems. We solved by a system of equations by substitution, elimination, and then last week, and then on Monday we did solving a system, a little bit bigger system using the matrices. Today we're going to revisit graphing an inequality where we got to solve for y, graph it, and we have to shade our graph. And then we're also going to do a system of inequalities where we're going to put two graphs on one and see where the two graphs overlap the shaded areas, and that would be our solution. So let's just go to this first inequality. We got 3x plus 4y is greater than 12, and we're going to graph it on our graph paper here. But the first thing we want to do when we graph is solve for y, get y by itself. So I'm going to take the 3x to the other side, so I have to subtract it. So I get 4y is greater than negative 3x plus 12. And then I got to divide everything by 4. So the negative 3x and the 12. So once y is by itself, it's negative 3/4 x plus 3. So if you want, you can put that on your calculator and your y equals button and do it. But we don't really need to do that. We know 3 is our y-intercept, where the line will cross the y-axis. So I'm going to go up here and put a dot at the y-intercept at the 3. And then here's my slope, negative 3, which means down 3. And then positive 4 means right 4. We got to rise over our run, remember? So negative, down, and then positive to the right. So we're going to go down 3, which is at 0, and right 4, which would be over at 4. And we make another dot if you want to do it again. 1, 2, 3, down, and 1, 2, 3, 4, over. And then we're going to connect them. Now, when we do inequalities and graphing, if it's just greater than or just less than, it's a dashed line or dotted line. So this one will be dashed. And then if we have the equal to with it, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, it would be a solid line. So that's one of the details we got to remember. Okay, so this is dashed, so I'm going to pick a line here. Let's just pick this green one. It's dashed, and we're just going to go Okay, so there's our line. Now the other part of this is we have to shade one side or the other. Remember, a graph is a picture of all the solutions to the inequality. So all those points either below left of this or above right work in this inequality. So we got to figure that out. And the best way to figure that out is to substitute a point into the original problem. So we like to use 0, 0. That's easy to use. So I put 0 in for x, and 0 in for y. And see what we get, which is 0. And is that true or false? Is 0 greater than 12? That is not true. So that means 0, 0 doesn't work in this inequality. So since 0, 0 doesn't work, we go to the opposite side to shade. So we would shade that side, top right. So all the points in this shaded area, you know, if I went, what is that, 4, 3. If I picked that point there and plugged it in, 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 12 is 24. That's greater than 12. All right, so that works. So all those would work. None of the ones down here would work. So we just drew a picture or showed a picture of all the solutions to that inequality. Okay, so let's look at another one. Now this one is a quadratic. Okay, we got an x squared in here. All right, so what I would do on these, just go to your calculator. All right, so remember, to graph, we're going to go y equals, and we're just going to put that in there. So x squared plus, oops, 2 is not there, so I guess I'll move it over for now. 2x minus 3. Hit enter, and then graph. Okay, so it's a parabola, remember. It opens up because our a value was positive. If this a value here, the number in front, oops, let's get that back. We'll just put it over here so you guys can see it. If that a value is negative, it would have opened down, have a negative attitude, be a frown. Since it's a positive, it's got a positive attitude, it's got a smile on our face. All right. And again, if you want to make it look like it should, what you should do in our calculator, excuse me, if I hit second graph for table, we have a table of values there that we could use to help us plot some points. Okay, so let's plot some points. Let's just use green this time. So negative 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a point. Negative 3, 0. Negative 3, 0. It's right there. Negative 2, negative 3. 1, 2, 3. 0, negative 3. Or negative 1, negative 4, sorry. 0, negative 3. 1, 0. And 2, 5. Remember, parabolas are symmetrical. So our axis of symmetry is this x equals negative 1 line went through our vertex. Okay, but you don't have to worry about that stuff. So we just draw, not bad for using my mouse. Oh, also, this was solid, so I made it solid. Okay, because they had the equal to there. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, it's a solid line. Remember our first one here was just greater than, it was a dashed line. So remember those details. And again, we have to shade. All right, so again, I'm going to pick the point 0, 0. If it works, I'm going to shade inside the parabola. If it doesn't work, I'm going to shade outside of it. All right? So I just substitute 0 in for y and 0 in for x. To see if I get a true statement or not. It tells me where I can shade. So 0 is less than or equal to -3. 0 is not less than or equal to -3. It's actually bigger. So that didn't work. So we got to go like we did before, outside. So it'd be all this, all these points outside the parabola would work. Any of those I would pick would work into that inequality. Anything in here, like the 0, 0, would not work. So again, another picture of all the solutions to that inequality. Okay? So just a quick review on how to graph inequalities in shade. Okay? So this next slide, we're going to have a system of inequalities where we're going to have two inequalities, and we're going to graph them on one XY axis, and then see where our shaded areas overlap. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing, get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides to get y by itself. Now this is a -2y, remember, so don't forget about that minus sign there. And now, what happens when you divide by a negative with inequalities? You got to remember that we have to flip our inequality symbol. So since I'm dividing by -2, this greater than becomes less than. Very important. Two negatives make a positive, so that's a positive 3/2 x. And a positive 6 divided by -2 would be -3. All right, so my 3's are looking ugly, but that's okay. So my y-intercept is at -3, and my slope is positive 3/2, so up 3 and over 2. Up 3 over 2. 3 over 2. Disconnect them. If you wanted, we could go down 3 and left 2. Two negatives make a positive. Down 3 and left 2. All right, and it's a dashed line again this time. All right, so I'm going to get my lines and get a dashed one here. I'll just use a black one this time. Okay, and we'll shade that one with red. Keep our red pen there. Now, if I put 0 in for, I like to put in the front, the top one. Put 0 in for x and y. 3 times 0 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. So I get 0 minus 0. So I get 0. It's greater than 6 when I substitute in the 0, 0. Right there, 0, 0. 0 is not greater than 6. So that means I'm going to shade the opposite side. So I'm going to shade that way. And I'm not going to shade it yet. I'm just going to put arrows for which side I'm going to shade, because I want to see, my answer is going to be where these two shaded parts overlap. Okay, so I'm going to wait and just shade that part when I'm done. All right, I'll do this one in blue. All right, again, we're going to subtract 2x because we want to get y by itself. So we got another negative in front. So we're going to end up switching. And I divide by -5. Sorry about that. I get y is greater than or equal to, because I divided by -5. That's supposed to be a -5 there. And a -2 divided by negative is positive 2/5 x. And positive 10 divided by negative 5 would be negative 2. So negative 2 is my y-intercept. I'm going to go up 2 and over 5 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I went down 2, 1, 2, go left 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 2, 5. All right, now this time, since it's greater than or equal to, I have a solid line. So I'm just going to put a solid one. So there's that line. And again, I'm going to pick 0, 0 to see if it works or not. So 2 times 0 is 0, 5 times 0 is 0, so 0 minus 0 is 0. Is less than or equal to 10. That's the original problem. That's what I always plug into. And that is a true statement. So this time I will go towards the 0, 0. So this one, 0, 0 is this way. All right. So where the two overlap would be above or below right of the shade or dashed line and above left the solid line. Where those would overlap would be this area in here. So let's go ahead and change it to a highlighter, and then we can just all this highlighted area would be the solution to that system of inequalities where the two graphs overlap. All those points in that highlighted area would work in both inequalities. So we do a picture of that. Let's do one more. I think you guys got this, but we'll throw in a another parabola. Okay, so let's move that up a little bit. And again, we're going to get y by itself to get started. So go back to a normal pen. Just do red here. So subtract 2x. And get negative 3y. Less than negative 2x plus 6. And then again, we're dividing by a negative. Remember, only when we divide or multiply by a negative do we switch. But we had to do it again. You don't have to if it was dividing by positive 3. So just remember that. So we get y is less than 2 negatives, make it positive 2/3 x minus 2. All right, so negative 2 is my y-intercept. Up 2 and over 3 is my slope. Again, if you went down 2 and go left 3, you get a positive. 2 negatives make a positive. Okay, it's just less than, so we're back to a dashed line. So we'll use our dashed one. All right, and we'll go back and pick 0, 0 to see if we go towards it or away from it. 2 times 0 is 0, 3 times 0 is 0. Subtract, I get 0. Is that less than 6? And that would be true. So we're going to shade towards the upper left of that line. All right, for this parabola, I'm going to go back to my calculator, hit my y equals, clear it out, and put that one in. X squared minus 4x minus 5. And hit graph. Remember, if your graph's not coming up, hit zoom 6, zooms up top there in the middle, 6. That gets you this graph right there. Oops, don't want that. Sorry. Move that so we can see it a little bit. All right, go to my table to get some points. Back to the calculator, second graph. And let's see here. Let's go down this way a little bit. Looking symmetrical there. So we'll do this one in what color? Let's do purple. All right, so at -1, 0 was a point, and that looks like 5, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the bottom, let's go to the back to the calculator. The bottom looked like it was at 2, -9 there, looking symmetrical. Okay, so I can't really quite get it with me in the way there, but that's kind of what it would look like. You go down to 2, -9, and come back up. So there's my parabola. All right, we'll try 0, 0 again. 0 for y. 0 squared is 0. 4 times 0 is 0. So 0 minus 0 minus 5 is -5. Okay, so 0 is not less than or equal to -5. All right, and that's inside, so I got to go outside. All right, so where the two overlap, if I go back to my highlighter, outside of this and above would be, all this area. And then here too, nothing below that dashed line. Okay, all those points. And remember, this parabola, that's not a very good picture one, but remember, it looks like that again. If we put in that line through here, you could see a little better, but it gets wider as it goes up. So, but that's what we're doing in this section. This is section 9.5. Instead of taking a picture of the problems I want you to do from the book, on the next slide is the 4 problems I would like you to do. All right, just like the 4 I just did. Doing a line, an inequality, a linear inequality, a quadratic inequality. Remember to shade. All right, dash lines. Remember when you don't have the equal to. When you have the equal to, solid line. I should go back and check that last one I did. All right, it was solid because it had the equal to. All right, and the dash, so I did that correctly. All right, so just remember those details. Remember rise over run, rise up, positive, down, negative, run, positive, right, negative, left. All right, so I just want you to do those 4 problems and take a picture of them, send them back to me. And again, you guys have been doing a great job. I do miss you guys. I'd rather be in class talking to you instead of by video here, but you keep up the good work. I appreciate it. You guys have a great day. Remember, it's simple. You can do it, no problem. And also look good, feel good. You are good. Have a great day.